As the sole heir to the sterling fortune, I was still invisible, especially to the three boys my father raised. I'd thrown myself at Liam Ashford countless times only to be met with contempt. I thought he was just cold until I saw him on his knees before our driver's daughter, Sierra, swearing an oath, marrying her as a price for the sterlings raising me. Once I control the company, I'll give you the Real wedding. You will be my only wife. As long as Evelyn doesn't hurt you, I'll pay her to disappear. The day before the shareholders meeting, my father asked for my choice. I thought of Liam, Jax, and Ethan, how their eyes always slid past me. I smiled. I am a sterling heir. My marriage should be a merger. I'll choose Damien Blackwood. My father frowned. Damien, since the accident, he's a paraplegic. They say he's incapable. Are you sure? My voice was soft, but the words were steel. In our world, father, there's no such thing as true love. It's all about power, and if it's power we're after, then the Blackwood alliance is the only logical choice. His face was edged with concern. I understand the logic, but what about the boys? The three I chose for you, do none of them hold a place in your heart? My father had adored my mother, but she died from a sudden aneurysm the year I was born. He couldn't bear the thought of remarrying, yet he couldn't stomach the idea of leaving the vast sterling empire in the hands of a daughter, so, on the advice of a friend, he'd adopted three boys from an orphanage. His will was already written. Whichever one I chose would rule Sterling Corporation alongside me, a united front against the vultures on the board. He loved me, I knew that, but his love didn't change his conviction that a woman alone couldn't command the respect needed to lead. I met his gaze. Damien may be in a wheelchair, and the rumors might be true, but we can have children through IVF. He's the only heir to the Blackwood fortune. An alliance with a powerhouse is infinitely better than propping up our house with orphans. My father nodded slowly, a grim acceptance settling over him. If those three couldn't win your heart, then they have no place left at Sterling Corp. If I had told him the simple truth, that Liam didn't love me and I refused to force it, my father would have dragged him into his office and demanded to know what right a charity case had to refuse his daughter. I didn't want him to use years of kindness as a leash, and I certainly didn't want a bitter, loveless marriage. Besides, Liam's words to Sierra had already turned my heart to stone. Letting them go quietly was the greatest mercy I could offer. As I left the office, I saw my father shoot Liam a look that could freeze fire. After dutifully seeing my father out, Liam turned to me, his brow creased with irritation. What did you go crying to him about this time? His eyes were filled with a familiar mix of disgust and impatience, as if I were some loathsome creature. Before I could answer, Ethan Cole, ever the cool observer, let out a short, humorless laugh. What else? The usual complaints, that we don't play with her, that we don't worship the ground she walks on, he drawled. Jax Ryder, the hot-headed one, sneered. Honestly, Evelyn, it's the 21st century. Do you really think having a fat bank account makes you a princess everyone has to bow down to? The three of them stood shoulder to shoulder, a united front, their words like sharpened daggers aimed at my heart. A knot of genuine confusion tightened in my chest. None of you want to marry me. Why has not one of you ever just told my father that? My father, for all his old-fashioned ideas, wasn't a tyrant. If any of them had said no, he would have cut them a check and sent them on their way to a new life, but they never did. The sterling fortune was a cage they refused to unlock. Jax clicked his tongue in annoyance. Oh, cut the crap. We're your father's charity cases, his pet projects. We're the dogs he keeps in his kennel. Since when do dogs get to refuse their master? Liam's face was a mask of grim resignation. If you have to choose me, then fine, just leave the other two alone. Don't make their lives difficult. At this, Jax and Ethan looked at him with profound gratitude, as if he were a martyr sacrificing himself for their sake. The sight of Liam's noble act was so absurd, so twisted, it left a bitter taste in my mouth. I had